No, not that. Okay, so we are talking about the 2012 slasher film Smiley, which I remember when this came out because my friend Eric and I saw it at the Walmart. We're like, Smiley, what is that? And so I think I bought it. Either I bought it or he bought it, one of the two. And I remember it being meh, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's a bad movie, you know it's a bad movie, but sometimes you just can't stop thinking about it, you know? And I wanted to do a review, but I don't have it on physical media to watch. And I'm not going to buy that thing because I know it's a bad movie. So last night, I usually put YouTube playlists on when I go to bed, and this time I put a playlist of Famous, his reviews that I have on my channel, a playlist I have in my playlists. And I woke up this morning to him doing his review for Smiley. And I'm like, you know what, I should do that. So I actually looked it up, and they have it on YouTube. It's the full movie, it's in HD, good quality for what the film is. And yeah, you can watch it. I started watching it this morning. I watched it during when I was in the work van and at break time, and I finished it when I got home. So I have some opinions on this movie. The concept of this movie could work if executed right, but it's not executed right. It's executed terribly, especially with the twist ending that makes no sense. Although I have realized if you actually pay attention to some stuff during the film, they set this up. There's dialogue here and there. There's stuff. So basically the idea is about this urban legend called Smiley. What you do is you go to a video chat room, be it like chat roulette or hide and go chat, as they say on here. And you find someone, whether it's someone you know or just a random person. And what you do is you type in, I did it for the lulz 3 times, and you have to want them to die. That's important, I guess. And then Smiley shows up, kills them. And we follow Ashley, who is going to college for the first time. And she meets her new roommate, Proxy, who takes her to this party owned by Put a Cork in It Zane. And it's supposed to be anonymous. That everyone there is anonymous. They don't know each other. But the film actually starts. This little cold open that they do, this little opening scene, kind of like a James Bond film. It's this babysitter, she's watching this little girl. Our first jump scare is a little girl popping out, hey, with the mask on, scaring her. Then the little girl tells her of the urban legend, the Smiley urban legend. Their second jump scare is the dad coming home from work, and then we cut to her in her house, the babysitter in her house, and she's on the chat thing with Glasses McGee, I'm going to call him, because I don't know his character's name, Glasses McGee, and he does this thing, because it's pre-recorded footage from going so many times, like 3 times in a row he does it, and he types in, I did it for the lulz, which right away makes you think, what's going on? Shouldn't she be the one typing it to him? But no, types it to her, and then Smiley shows up, kills her. I don't know. That's the opening. And then, so this party owned by Zane, they say it's an anonymous party, and the name Anonymous, you're going to want to remember that because that comes into play at the end. Shane Dawson is there from the YouTubes, and he's playing the role of Bender. I didn't know the character's name, so later, when she gets a text, she texts someone named Bender, apologizing to him, and then he sends it, it's okay, back. I'm like, who's Bender? Is that Shane Dawson? I didn't remember his name. But he has a problem with Zane because, they have a problem with him. They call him Pedo Bear. I don't know. The way they explain it doesn't make any sense because apparently he ratted out someone who was a pedo and he's called Pedo Bear. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I try not to think too hard. I'll get a headache. So after Shane is forced to leave, I'm gonna call him Shane, or Bender, whatever, is forced to leave. They do the thing. Glasses McGee in the chair, and we see on the screen that it's the babysitter lady. So there's a time jump from the beginning scene. Well, not a time jump, but there's a time jump from when she's at the babysitter's house, when she's babysitting the girl, to when we see her do the thing. There's a time jump. There has to be. They do the thing, and she gets stabbed, even though I don't think she was actually stabbed in front of the camera, and it took longer for Smiley to show up than it shows on the screen. But yeah, and then she freaked out about this. So her and Proxy do one on this guy who was at the party that they wrote face on. They wrote stuff on his face, and they do one to him, and he gets killed. And then the next day, there's another party because college, and at this party, she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, what happened to your friend?" Like, what? Yeah, your friend. He's not our friend. We don't know him. He's not dead. He's not dead. He just hasn't been around. He could be dead. They don't know. They don't care. But then this is when she's like drunk or whatever, and she has this vision of Smiley chasing after her. And there's two different Smileys. There's one with the face that you'll see in my my thumbnail, but there's another one that looks kind of like a watermelon, a brown watermelon thing that is used throughout the film. And that's how you can say, wait a minute, something's got to be going on. I don't understand why they used a different mask. When they explain it, they say that he just sewed his eyes shut and carved a permanent smile. So why is it brown? A brown mask? I don't understand why they have to have different masks. I know in the context of the film, for what happens in the twist, it's gotta look fake, but you could have done better. They made one good-looking mask for a couple scenes, but then for the mass production, we can't afford that. So how about you don't do the mass production twist at the end? We'll get there. Don't worry. So she's all weirded out, and she gets attacked, and she wakes up in her bed. So is it a dream? But her shirt's still torn from when she was attacked. Proxy doesn't believe her, of course. Even though, see, this is where I find out to be weird. And there's the twist, and you say, if you know the twist, you're like, well, yeah, hold on. Proxy was there with her, saw someone die. Now she says, don't call the cops, none of that. But now she's playing out saying, I don't believe you, Smiley's not real, even though you fucking saw it twice. Twice. You saw it, and you don't believe it. And this is after the fact that Zane calls him, right? Calls them over to his house. He's drunk, he's got a gun, or whatever, and he's telling them that another person is dead. Could be Glasses McGee. I don't know. We find out later from a montage that he's dead, and we'll get to that. But someone else is dead, and he's going off. And even then, Proxy's still saying that it's fake and it's not really happening. But yet, it just doesn't make any sense to me. She goes to the cops to tell them what's going on. They gotta be horror movie cops and not believe them. But this is almost ignorance to the point that it's gross negligence, because she is reporting stuff, and she's like, haven't you heard about the Smiley stuff? And then Keith David's like, I did, but I ignored it, or something like that. They don't believe it. And it's like, well, even if you don't believe that it's real, you still have to investigate, because people could be dying, and there are missing persons. Right? There are missing persons. You have to investigate. You can't just ignore it. Even later in the film, when she tries to call the cops, he hangs up on her. It makes no sense. Just because you have to have stupid cops. It'd be easier just to have a thing where, the cell phone doesn't work, there's no signal, can't call the cops, than just that. It doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense. But anyway, so what happens now is she's fully out of it. She's hallucinating, seeing things. And I think I can explain it later, which I will. But eventually this leads to a night where Proxy is out of town somewhere, I don't know where, and they're on a video chat, and she says that she's trying to call Zane and he's not answering. So Ashley by herself goes over to Zane's place and finds Zane dead. She steals his gun, the one they showed before, and runs home, believing that Smiley is chasing her. She left Proxy on the chat. They're talking, and then she hears a noise. She fires the gun, and it's Shane Dawson. Why he's there, I don't know, but he's there. And then more than one Smiley show up and go after her. She jumps out the window and is presumed dead. Then we get the twist. Oh, the twist. Everyone was in on it. Everyone was in on it. Zane, Proxy, Shane Dawson, no, he's not dead. Glasses McGee, the fat naked guy, the guy with the writing on his face, and the fucking babysitter. Now I remember I'm watching this. I watched for the first time. I'm like, Glasses McGee or the glasses guy? I thought he was dead, but they're so, Huh? And then the babysitter, I'm like, no, bullshit. That makes no sense. But then when you think about it, okay? Here's the thing. If you think of the opening scene as one continuous thing, it's not going to make sense. But if you think about this, especially put in the context later in the film, the opening scene with the babysitter kid, with the kid she's babysitting, tells her the urban legend, right? She then tells Zane about it, and they come up with this idea, this big plan to eliminate this girl. It's explained earlier that Proxy chose her. She said, "Thanks for choosing me." Proxy chose her. She was chosen. They know exactly what kind of drugs she's taking because she gets a prescription for stuff. Zane asks her, "Oh, what are you taking?" And he tells her, which means he's able to hack into the system because he's a master hacker, you see. And he hacks into the system and gives her something else, a hallucinogen, instead of an antidepressant. That's why she hallucinates a real Smiley and a fake one, because the fake one is really after her, which I'm assuming is Proxy, because she said she had to go to the bathroom and we never see her again the rest of that night. So I'm assuming it's her dressed up, and then goes after her, and that's that night. Everything was set up. Why? Because they want Anonymous to be synonymous with something, I don't know, but it's all set up. It's very confusing. I have a better version of this in my head that I can write down and make a video out of, which I might at some point, but it's just ridiculous. And the ultimate ridiculousness is the end, which so after everyone leaves, we gotta leave, we gotta go now, we gotta leave, we don't want to be here. Zane's just at the desk and Proxy's still on the thing. It's revealed she's in on it, and he types in, "I did it for the lows" 3 times. The real Smiley shows up and kills her. Now you might be sitting there going, well, how the fuck does that happen? Well, that's because you need to listen to the classroom scenes when the teacher is explaining stuff. They even explain some things twice so you can get it through your head, alright? He does a couple classes. I don't remember what the first one was, but the other two are, one is on a theory or a principle, RX principle or something like that. Basically, it's about, one of them is about hypothesis, about wanting to, hypothesis, trying to think of whether it's going to work or not, predicting that, and then testing that theory to see if it's going to work. And that's basically what you're doing. Oh, you heard the urban legend. Is it real? Is it fake? You're going to test it. You're going to hypothesize whether or not it's going to work, and then you're going to do it. That's basically what that is. The second one is the theory, which I can't remember, the principle or whatever. And basically it's about, can you will something into existence? And I thought it was just her willing it into existence. But the more when I watch the speech that Shane Dawson gives, it makes me think that he is making all the rest of them believe that Smiley is real in one solid time, like in one solid thing. Like, Smiley will become something better. It will become a legend. It will be something bigger. Like, he's kind of willing it as well. But also, all the drugs they gave her also made her completely believe in it, which also helped. And so, the Smiley at the end is real because they willed him into existence. You just gotta pay attention to the classroom scenes with the teacher, Mr. Clayton, and you can get it. And we get a little post-credit thing where Zane claims that she's dead. She jumped to her doom, which is just out a window, and she broke her neck. She's dead. Proxy even feels a little remorse. But the thing is, we don't see her break her neck. We don't see her die. She jumps out forward, and then when we see her laying there, she's on her back, which doesn't make any sense. But then we have a post-credit stinger where she's laying there, and she goes, so she's still alive. So it's supposed to be leading to a sequel that never happened because it sucks. But there are ideas in it that I do like, and I would have wanted to see them explored better. But as it stands, this movie is just, man, I was ready to put it in the fryer. But upon further examination, I think I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think it's decent. It's not the greatest. It's not terrible. It's just meh, in the middle. There are certain ideas in it that I can understand where they were trying to go, but the execution just didn't work. So it gets a 5 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Smiley? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I did it for the lulz.